Hey guys, HappyCattyCrypto here and welcome back to the channel. So I hope you've had really nice weekends. It's been moderately nice here in the UK. We're having pretty decent weather. I would honestly rather be in a warmer country, I'm not going to lie, but we're all working towards financial freedom here in crypto. So hopefully that's where we're all going to end up, is on a beach drinking peach daiquiris. Let me know in the comments section what specifically you would be drinking. I myself, it's going to be a peach daiquiri. You can almost guarantee that would be the signal that I've made it in crypto, is that I'm posting pictures on a beach with a peach daiquiri. So here on the channel, we have been covering quite a lot of stuff. We cover a lot of the ins and outs, and we were on the back end of that court case and we were following it as best as we could. Now, towards the end, what happened was it was kind of like pay to view. If you were willing to pay, you were able to get certain little bits of drips of information. So I've been out there, I've been doing the rounds, I've been looking for bits of information because overall things are pretty quiet on the TFL front. And what's even more important is how quiet DK is, considering he's supposedly on house arrest. So without further ado, what I want to do is say to everybody that Luna, they're not screwed, but they're pretty screwed in the sense that they're going to be in the same boat that we were in 2 years ago, where they lose their development team. They lose that. And this is what a lot of people don't understand with development teams. You could have the best development team in the world, but if they do not have a vision and an emotional tie to what they're developing, then they're just going to be as good as the next people coming in and providing bug fixes and bug updates and just there to get paid. And that's the difference with TFL, is they had a vision, they had a roadmap, they had an idea of where they're going. So ultimately what's going to happen is, you can imagine a big room of people that all want control over something that they could all possibly have control over in the future, and they're going to fight for it. And we're already seeing them fight for it currently. So here I've got the official court document up, and this is the most important part of this. This is the part I said was going to be the real kind of mind bender that throws anyone who was sitting there thinking that it's not that bad, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. This is absolutely the worst thing that could possibly happen. And even if they appeal this, right? Even if they appeal it and they get it somehow cut down by 50%, they still are not even close to being able to afford what these fines are. So here in this document, I'm not going to read it all out. What I'm going to do is point out the disgorgement fees, the fines and everything like that. So joint and severally order them to pay disgorgement of $4.1 billion plus $545 million. And then a further $420 million and $100 million for a civil penalty. This is substantial. This is a huge amount of money, like a huge amount. If we just remove the 4.1 billion, they still don't have enough. So let me bring up the next document I've got. We've gone over this previously in the channel, and once again, we're working from what we know in this video. So what we're looking at here is two spreadsheets, one for January 2024, the schedule of digital assets for TFL, and then February 2024, the schedule of digital assets for TFL. This is the most updated version I could find, once again, working from what we know. So as we can see in here, if you add it up all together in the most recent one, which is February, they've got $222 million. So they're not even close to being able to cover any of these fees, right? And they can't get any more money out of the Luna blockchain, so to speak, unless the community and validators approve it. And I don't think they're going to approve to use their community pool to pay off TFL's fines, debts, and everything else that's really going to come with this, because although they're asking for that money there, this isn't even adding in all of the different people that were hit by this. I mean, even someone like Connor Kenny, who was hit really bad by UST, now has legal grounds to go out, find a legal team, pay the money, and use all of this as evidence to show that, hey, I was part of a rug pull and I shouldn't have, and I need to, they could get something back. And I think that's all going to be coming, just like over the years you've seen the whiplash claims, you've seen the PPI claims. lawyers find interesting ways to make money, and the whole no win, no fee is really going to be something that would play into the ball court of people that are possibly tied up in the legalities of what money they lost because of this whole situation that unfolded. So like I was saying, right, they're ripping each other apart at the moment. I've got a few different screenshots which I can show you, which is from the TFL main Telegram group. And honestly, there's no one in there moderating. So what I think is they're not paying anybody anymore. We've already seen Ivan, or at least rumors of Ivan leaving TFL. And if I was TFL, I would be panicking right now because I would be wondering, where the heck am I going to get all of this money from? And then at the same time, everybody looks to Chris Armani as like the new DK, but he's not. He's paid $3.2 million a year to be put in that position to handle this. So he's not going to be held responsible. The developers are not going to be really held responsible. So who's left to be responsible? That leaves TFL as an entity and DK as an individual. So TFL, from my point of view, from what I know and what I understand, is they're done. There will be no more development. The likelihood is they're not going to be pushing anything forward anymore. And we're already seeing their community saying that it's being abandoned, it's collapsing. What could happen to the chain if there's not enough funds to pay the penalties? Nobody can stop the decentralized network. Would it become community run like Luna Classic? Guys, you are already in a community run coin. The second those fines come in as part of the Luna ecosystem, right? You guys are not going to approve all of your community pool funding to pay fines, which wouldn't even get close to covering it. So now we've looked at all of this evidence. Now we've looked at what we know currently. Where does this leave us? Well, as the Luna Classic blockchain, we've got a huge upper hand here. A huge upper hand. And if it was used and utilized correctly, the likelihood is a lot of those validators would start to think, maybe I'll go back to Luna Classic. Maybe I'll start to develop on there. And what we need, and what the blockchain needs mostly, is validators that are building for the chain, not building for themselves, not building for their third parties, not building dexes to privatize on gaps that are there, but actually building for the blockchain. And that's what we need. So the more strong validators we can bring back, the ones who have got really big infrastructure, stuff that we can plug in, stuff that can be redeveloped on this blockchain. And for all intent and purposes, right? Bite comes to crunch, they already know the technology. In fact, it's the OG technology and more or less the identical technology as to what they're currently using. So what I think is going to happen is there is going to be one heck of a fight between all of the people on Luna, because what TFL are actually really good at is ignoring everybody. And they done this when the crash happened. They just go silent. They bury their heads in the sand. The only person who ever got an interview was Zach Guzman of Coinage, and he got that with DK. So it's really interesting because I think they're going to bury their heads in the sand. That's just my personal point of view in this. They're really good at doing that, and I think they're going to do it again, and they're currently doing it. They don't have any money to pay developers. They don't have any money to pay any moderators, and they're really stuck in the mud. And this gives a chain like Luna Classic to shine. So one of the biggest current underlying issues when something like this happens is the greedy validators put something silly forward like 10x in gas fees, which is absolutely insane. Like insane. The amount of DApps they're going to force out, the amount of projects they're going to force out, and they just don't care. And it really, everybody's sort of saying, well, you should redelegate, people should redelegate. And I even say you should redelegate from them, but I think we're past that. Okay, what we do know is one of the validators that are double noding over there is targeting the religious community. And for all intent and purposes, you can't stomp out religion. It just doesn't work like that. If people believe in something, they choose to believe in it. The more they're oppressed, the more they'll believe in it, the more they'll support it, and the more they'll put into it. So there's no chance in high heaven you're going to be able to get all of those people to suddenly redelegate from a spiritual route that they're on. It's just not going to happen. So what does need to happen is strict rules actually need to get put into place. But once again, if you go and look at that validator group that I left, that you're all allowed to sit and watch them have little mothers meetings about nothing. Nothing ever materializes in there. None of them are talking about the double noding, the triple noding. None of them are calling each other out and giving each other status checks. And because that isn't happening, those who are double noding and network noding, they're having the behavior reinforced in a positive manner because nobody's saying anything. It comes down to people like me to have to go out, do the videos, point the fingers and sort of say, hey, this shouldn't be happening. So this is all interesting stuff. So as much as there's all of this negative going on, we've got this very interesting narrative that's playing out where Luna is now in what I would call just limbo. And they're going to struggle. And I really mean this. They're going to struggle to find a development team, right, that isn't there for the paycheck, that doesn't want to skim as much as they can and get as much as they can out of the blockchain by giving as little possible back, because we've always suffered with this. And I just don't think it's going to be any different. Trying to find a development team that has a vision, that looks at the blockchain and goes, this is what it needs. It needs a DEX. It needs an NFT marketplace. It needs a factory. It needs meme coins. It needs all of this. And we're going to provide it. We just don't get that, right? So they're going to struggle. They're really going to struggle. And as they struggle and as more people come up with more ideas and as they all start to cross wires, you can already see where this is going, right? So it's at this time, I would say it's very important that as a collective, we really try to do something to prevent these 10x gas fees. And it's going to boil down to, I haven't checked the votes today, but it's going to boil down to Orion Money and All Nodes votes. And it's a horrible situation. It's a very horrible situation because everybody benefits. The only people that don't benefit is project owners, the app owners, the people who have actually built into the chain. They're the ones that don't benefit. So overall, it's beneficial for you guys. It's beneficial for the chain. It's beneficial for validators. So you can see the appeal, right? Right. If you haven't seen those videos that I've put out recently, go back and check them out. I am preparing a kind of 1 hour episode with a couple of different people that I want to do. We'll go over all of the different things. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about the inverse collapse of Luna a little bit more in depth, because we're all talking about this and actually monitoring what they're doing and trying to see how this is going to pan out for them moving forward. But guys, drop a comment on the way out, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notifications bell. It's really going to help out. Links to everything in the description. And other than that, guys, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. I'll catch you in the next one.